Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts Talk Show. My name is Joe Page III. I will be with you for the next half hour or so. Please call your friends, family members, and whomever else and let them know that we're on the air. And stick around because we're going to be talking about some things on tonight that you're going to be very interested in. We know that for a fact. First of all, I want to talk to you about the music school. As you know, we are a music school right here in Chicago, 6353 South Cottage Grove, right across the street from the Social Security office and right next to the Grand Ballroom. We teach all of the instruments, everything except the string instruments we don't teach. We do teach the band instruments, all of them, saxophone, trumpet, whatever you might be interested in, we can do it for you. Now I want you to make certain that you have it clear in your mind that this is something that you can do. You can become a musician right here at the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts. It will not be that difficult for you to do that. All of our students are able to play at a very high level. We have 2 recitals a year. One is in July, the other one is in December. That gives you an opportunity to play before an audience. Usually it's your friends, family members, and other students. We usually have about 60 or 70 people in attendance. And it also encourages you to practice, you know. In other words, if you know that you're going to be performing, have a public performance, you then will have more inspiration to practice. And so our program is designed in order to get you where you need to be. So we want you to call in. You can call the station right here at 312-738-1060. And Mr. Lionel Don, who is at the board now, will answer all your questions and give you further information about these programs that we have that will get you where you need to be on that piano that's sitting around collecting dust, whether or not it's a keyboard or it may be a regular acoustic piano. In addition, that saxophone, that trumpet, that guitar, that flute, come on, make that phone call right now. Quit putting things off. You're only going to live this life one time, and you want to really enjoy it to the fullest, okay? Now I'm going to share a few things with you. I want you to see some of our students, some of them that have been with us for a while. And we're going to start you off by taking a look at some of these pictures. I want you to see for yourself some of our adult as well as our children in performance. Now you take a look at this, and I'm going to bring this up so you can see it. And you see there, isn't that wonderful? That's me there in the African garment. And here you have this is one of our trumpet players. He plays jazz there on the trumpet. You can see him blowing. Can you see that? I think may be a little bit off a little bit. Let's get it over. There you go. You can see him now, can't you? And this folks right here, the picture that you're going to be seeing next, that's Phil Caron. Phil Caron is an icon in the city of Chicago. That's me sitting over near that podium. But Phil Caron is an icon here in Chicago, and he passed away about a year ago. He was 89, I believe it was 89 or 90 years old. But some of you out there who have been following music for a while, especially jazz music, would have heard of Phil Caron. And then there are some of you out there who are musicians that may be tuning in, and you certainly have heard of Phil Caron. Well, he was with us. We brought him in so that he could share some of his knowledge and experience over all these years. He incidentally was a friend of Miles Davis. He blew the trumpet himself, and a number of other instruments Phil Caron blew. And of course, this right here is a picture of some of the people as they're leaving one of our recitals. And you see Mr. Khalid. I hope if he's listening, Khalid, we appreciate everything that you've done there at the school. and some of the other of our students that you will see there. This, ladies and gentlemen, would be the front of our facility. As you can see it right there, that is the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts music facility right there, and you can see it. And the grand ballroom, by the way, is right next to that. So this is some of the things that we're doing, and we're here. And of course, let me show you another one. This is one of our students there, and that's me standing next to her as she's performing in our recital. Over here is one of our little drummers that was with us for a long time. He was a very good little drummer. He started with us at 5 years old. And then, of course, these are two of our young drummers here. You can see them as they're performing up there. They're doing what they call a duo. It's a duo, and they're doing a duet together. Okie dokie. Now I want you to see those. And finally, this is my office, and you can see me right there on the phone as I'm taking care of some administrative business, because not only do I have to, let me get that over there so you can see it a little bit better. There you are, you see me on the phone there. And I'm taking care of some business for it, because I'm also the director, so I have to do the administrative work as well as teach. And so it becomes a lot of work and a lot of things to do. And that gives you an idea of our facility and what we're doing. And I wanted you to see that. By the way, folks, this is our very last program, our very last show for the season. Okay, and I thought I'd share that with you so you get a kind of a feel of what you'd be getting into if you came to our facility. Alrighty? Now, having done that, you can call and get more information about the program right here on the station. All you got to do is just give us a call right here. Once again, that's 312-738-1060. 312-738-1060. And we'll give you more information about that. Or you can call our facility at 773-891-1875. Again, we are very grateful to Lionel Don, who is one of our instructors at the school. He also helps to produce this program right here. And we are very grateful for him and his continual loyalty to what we're doing here, because he plays a big role in it. And so we want to just express that on the air, so that all of you would know that it's not just me, but I have other people that I work with, and these are people who are themselves helping to make what we're doing come true. Now behind you, you'll see something where it says, "Winter always comes to spring, turns to spring." That's our motto, and we really believe that no matter how bad things are, that in the end, if we stick with it, they will turn out to be good. As sure as winter always turns to spring, the bad will turn to good if we just don't give up and stick with whatever we're doing. That's why I'm saying to a lot of you out there, don't give up on your dreams. If you have a dream to become a musician, or you want to just play an instrument just for your own joy, all you have to do is give us a call, and we will help you to accomplish that dream. Okay? All right, we want to thank these people here at the Channel 21, all the staff people. You know who you are, for helping us out as we do this program every Wednesday. So we've been around here now for a little over 2 years, and we'll be back, folks, in 12 weeks, I suppose. I think that puts us in July, if I'm counting right. This is March, April, May, June. Let's say roughly, give or take, around the latter part of June. Okay, and we'll be back at that time. But now, we're going to finish the show up. I want you to, first of all, we're going to have a a moment of silence for the life of a young man who was brutally shot down and killed on this, I believe it was, I'm not sure what day it was, but a few days ago. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Stephen Clark of Sacramento, California, who was shot and murdered in his grandmother's backyard. Now, this has been all on the news, and we've been watching it and talking about it. And these incidents are happening way too much. They have been happening for years, way too much. And, you know, you just can't sit back and not say anything or do anything about it. Here's a young man visiting his grandmother, and he ends up dead in his grandmother's backyard. Now, how gross, how unlikely is that to take place? You know, I remember my grandmother, and she was a very lovely lady, had a very beautiful spirit, and I just can't believe, I can't conceive of myself having been murdered in her backyard. And this young man probably thought he was in one of the most safest areas he could ever be in the backyard of his grandmother. But he was shot down in cold-blooded murder by two Sacramento police officers. I believe these fellows were Caucasian. I'm pretty sure they were. And this is a young black man, 22 years old, just in the beginning of his life. And it is unconscionable that a person would have the gall to do that to another human being. I mean, I don't think most of us would do that to an animal, let alone another human being. And from what I understand, from the little reading that I did on it, because I just didn't have much time to research it all out, is that there's some authority, another, who's saying that they won't charge these fellows because for murder, which is what they did, because of the fact that they perceived that their lives were in danger. You know, I think that's a bunch of crap, if you ask me. Now, let's say I had a pistol, and I don't really own a pistol. I don't carry pistols, but for those who, fine. But I'll say this: let's say that I owned a pistol, and I was licensed to use it and everything. And I was walking down the street, and somebody had a phone in their hand. And I thought it was a gun. And I took my pistol and unloaded it on this person, 8, 10 shots, until this person was as dead as a doorknob. You think that I could go marching into court and say to them, well, I perceived that my life was in danger. They look at me like I was a fool. They'd say this man had nothing but a cell phone in his hand, and your perceptions were dead wrong because they left this man dead. And you're going to go to jail, or you're going to be faced with capital punishment, which means that you're going to give your life because you took the life of another person. I am so sick of these animalistic, cold-hearted, mean, low-down cops shooting people, human beings, not once, not twice, but unloading their pistols. And on some occasions I've heard where they were trying to reload after the person was so dead until blood was all over every place and everywhere. Folks, this is the action of cold-blooded, sadistic murderers. It is, and there's no other way that you can cut it. Cold-blooded, sadistic murderers. And they have no business being licensed to carry a gun, and they certainly have no business on the police force, which they're supposed to be serving and protecting and they're on there hiding behind a badge with their murderous and racist attitudes. I am telling you, folks, I haven't carried a gun since I was in the military, and I was authorized to carry one. But I cannot imagine in my worst days that I would have pulled that 45, which is what it was, out of the holster and unloaded it on somebody who I knew did not threaten me the least. From what I understand, from the footage I saw, this young man was walking toward his grandmother's back door as they were unloading their weapons. And even after he hit the ground, flat on his face, there were still hails of bullets. They shot 20 times, this young man, at him 20 times. How many times they hit him, I do not know. But I do know one thing, that there are some sadistic murderers on the police force. Now, I'm not going to rest, and I hope you don't rest, until finally some of these people are brought to justice, if not all of them brought to justice. You just can't go around murdering people and claiming that you perceive something was going to happen to you. I think sometimes, if you want to know the truth, I think these people ride around in their squad cars talking to each other about what they're going to do if this happens or if that happens, you know. Because both those men did the same thing. They both unloaded their pistols on this man. And they had to see him go down. He had on light clothing. They had to see him go down. And they unloaded their pistols on him. It would not surprise me now if they had been talking about this for months or even years as partners about what they're going to do in the event that this happened. I'm not going to ask any questions. There used to be the time that it was required that if you did have a real pistol, not a cell phone as this young man had, but if you had a real pistol, that they would, that it was a requirement for them to first ask you to drop your pistol and put your hands in the air. That goes way back to the Western days. You see it in movies where you got a gun, a real gun in your hand, and they said drop it, and you drop it and put your hands in the air. But here these people are not doing anything but saying, I perceived that my life was in danger. Now this big burly rascal perceives his life is in danger. He's carrying this fatal weapon, and they're not even, the man is not even, they're both behind something. I don't know what they're behind, but they're not out in the opening. How could your life be, how could you perceive your life was in danger, and you're shooting a guy in the back from squatting behind a car or something, and you're unloading your pistol on him? Folks, if I had my way, I would send these people to the moon, and they would never get back. Because they number one, not only should they not be on that police force, these people should not even be in this country. And not only should they not be in this country, because they're not Americans. No real American would do that to another American. No, I don't care how you cut it. They're not real Americans, you know. But the bottom line is, let me tell you this right here. If I had my way, I'd send these people to the moon, and I mean that. Because they had individuals like this. If I could snap my finger and they would never have been born in this world, I would do it today. And I'm not about capital punishment. But when you see people do things like this right here, you know, you wonder if that might not be a way of getting back at them, you know. And many of them are getting over on taxpayers, because what they do when they kill or murder somebody like this, they end up being given a desk job, administrative duty, while getting paid the same salary that they were getting paid before they murdered whoever they murdered. I don't like that idea. And some of them have the audacity to get back on the force. They let them back on the force after they have murdered people. And many of those, it would not surprise me now, if you look in these two cops' records, that those cops had all kinds of infractions and violations in their records over the years where they had misused and abused people. And they keep them on the force, you know. I'm telling you, folks, we got to do something about this. This is worse than when Hitler was rounding up Jewish people. It's getting just that bad. It may not be that bad now, but it's getting just that bad. Because these people have been given a badge and a license to murder. And many of them know that they're going to get off. And that's why they do it. Because for a minute there we weren't hearing anything about this. And 90 days or sometimes less, we then hear about it again. Okay? It's almost as though people get bored. These people are getting bored when they can't find somebody to murder or to kill, you know. And I don't see how an individual, if you want to know the truth, how an individual could be so hateful. This young man was in the prime of his life, just starting out. And to have those people to shoot and kill him in his grandmother's backyard like that, I can tell you that a lot of people's blood is boiling, both blacks and whites, and Hispanics and others. Everybody's blood is boiling because it's such a hateful thing to do. And that's why I've devoted so much time to it today, because I for one, I think a murderer is the most despicable person in our society. And you could put a rapist right up next to him. But those two, because a rapist really is slowly murdering his victim, because the people that never goes out of people's minds, no matter how long they live. But the bottom line is, a murderer, I just cannot stand a murderer, because life is precious. Life is precious. And every human being on this earth is precious. And to have somebody to snuff out a young man's life like that and just going on as though nothing has happened, man, I'm telling the truth. I just know that cause and effect is going to catch up with those individuals. And believe me, folks, when I tell you cause and effect is very strict. You do reap what you sow. And even if somehow they manage to get out of this with man's laws, the universal laws will catch up with them. And when the universal laws catch up with them, they're going to be in trouble. Because let me tell you something. The good that you do in life, it really affects and impacts your children and grandchildren. I think that's in the Christian Bible. And I'm not a Christian, but I believe in that, you know. The good that you do in life and the bad that you do in life is the same way. It impacts and influences your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. These people have brought on themselves a real bad thing. And that's going to be it for me today, folks. I want you to just keep that in mind. I had to get on that today. You call us if you're interested in playing an instrument. You can get us at 773-891-1875. 773-891-1875. And we're going to check out right now until 12 weeks down the road. You'll be looking for us when we come back sometimes in June or the first part of July. See you next time. Take care.